Hello there and welcome to another episode of Wet Liberal Whenever. I've been thinking a lot about technology recently. I've had the wonderful opportunity of doing a proper kind of gadget review for a wonderful website called Girls and Gadgets. Yeah, me. An old bloke writing a review for a website called Girls and Gadgets. Let's not go into that. I mean, yes, I know I've played a character that was ostensibly not a male character because he had nothing down in the downstairs trouser department other than plastic underpants and a trademark. I know that's the case, but still, it was slightly confusing to be asked to write something for Girls and Gadgets, but I'm very proud to do it. And the review goes up very soon. It's this amazing thing called the AR drone, which is effectively a camera, but it's a camera that is attached to a 4-blade helicopter. Self-flying amazing thing. I mean, it is essentially a toy, but it's a truly remarkable one, and you control it with an app on your iPhone. And so when you tip your iPhone left or right, it steers itself left or right, which means that you break it quite quickly, as unfortunately I did. Got special protective hoops that go around the blades for indoor flying, but I still managed to smash it into things very quickly. That said, it's kind of the latest, most extraordinary piece of engineering and technology. Accelerometer in the iPhone actually steers the thing, and while you're flying it, the camera is sending the image through its own built-in Wi-Fi. You don't need to be near a Wi-Fi thing. Oh, it's just amazing. It is amazing. So it sends the image to your iPhone, so you can see what the camera is seeing. You'll all know about it because you're way more advanced than me, but I was very impressed. But then I came across this little book. Now this little book, as you can see, is it's a leaflet. It's a very tatty old leaflet. It's 37 years old. Comtek 74, 1974. There was a sort of conference and an exhibition and a little festival to explore alternative, as they were called then, alternative technologies, low impact technologies. And it was all experimental technologies that people were putting in their houses, solar heating panels on the roof, made of old radiators. I had a shower under one of those and actually scalded myself, it was so hot. And that was simply a domestic radiator like you'd have on the wall of your room, and painted matte black, put up on a framework so it's sort of facing the sun, with some garden hose attached to it and running water through it, and as the water went through the radiator, it came out ludicrously hot, dangerously hot, really, really quickly. So right from that age, and I was, what, 17? What was I in 74? 18 years old. I was 18 years old, and I could tell even then, even at that very crude stage, that this was possible. This was a completely different section of people who understood that we were destroying the world with the way we were living, and that we could do something about it, rather than pretending that it was all too awful and go and live in mud huts, of which there was a lot of people doing that. A lot of people living in teepees and benders. Quite an interesting term. A lot of people were living in benders at that time. There was nothing necessarily wrong with that, because it was people experimenting with different ways of living, but there were very, very bright, very highly educated engineers going, we can't carry on doing this. One of the best things, though, and it was fun as well. I want to show you this picture. You won't be able to see, you can't really see because it's a really rubbish black and white picture. But that picture there, I don't know if you can see that. You won't be able to see anything. That is basically two big curved mirrors that were facing the sun, and all the light was reflected onto this bar here, which was a high pressure steam pipe, black. And water was run up into that, cold water was run up into that, and every morning at about 7:30, 8 o'clock, this huge horn, which you can sort of see here, but you can't really tell, was a great big steam horn. So at about 8 o'clock in the morning, it would start, deafeningly loud, with steam coming out the front of it, and that was their installation. But what it proved was how easy it was to produce vast amounts of steam. Steam can be used to drive a turbine, without burning anything, and it was a silly, daft experiment, and it was a bunch of mad absolutely lunatic Belgian scientists and engineers with hair growing in places you wouldn't believe. People were very hairy back in the 1970s, and of course at that time there was the oil crisis and all that stuff going on. People were queuing up for hours to fill up their cars at petrol stations. There was only petrol, which was due to political rather than technological reasons or environmental reasons, but that all got better and everything got fine, and we all carried on and we bought bigger and bigger cars. But I guess that there was a seed that were developed at that period which has grown into what we're seeing happening today. And there is such an enormous amount of technological development happening today in the realm of renewable energy and less damaging, more renewable ways of using that energy to do things like heat our houses, transport ourselves, communicate with each other, blah, blah, blah. I suppose the thing that is the most frustrating and the most, but also the most exciting is that it is possible for us to live in a technologically advanced world without shagging the world that we live on to death. It is possible. It's not easy. It's not even likely that we'll do it because of greed and the political and social structures that we live in, and religion, and all those things that will hold that back, hold that development back as much as it desperately can, because it wants to maintain the status quo, because people who are in power, Mr. Mubarak being a very good example, would rather kill everybody and their own family and themselves than relinquish that power, which is very hard to understand if you're not interested in power. I don't want to be powerful over anyone, not bothered. I can't understand the desire to go to those extremes, to cling on to power, you know, and to hold everything back and don't let anything change or develop. Very, very peculiar. I think that desperate need to hang on to power at all costs is a very male thing. And I think it's a very deep psychological and possibly even Freudian thing that we need as men to hang on to the power we've got, because essentially we haven't got any power. What can women do? Women can reproduce with the merest interaction with men. They can reproduce and make new life. What can we do? Nothing. Nothing. We can either screw stuff up as men or make it better. That's about it. And it's very hard to deal with that turmoil in the male soul. And so I've always been attracted to men who want to try and make things better rather than destroy them, make them worse, or cling on to power. It's finding that bottom line. Well, what is the role of my life? What is my role in this world? Is it to get as much as I can and keep it from everyone else and be powerful and control other things and not let anyone have it? Or is it to continue the species, continue the race, but without damaging the world that the race lives in? I would think this is the biggest load of liberal waffle that has ever even touched my YouTube channel. Well, just one more thing before I go. The way that I'm shooting this, I'm so excited about this. This is another bit of technology. This is what inspired the whole thing. This is the Owly, which is that's that there. Look, you can see that there is my iPhone within this special frame thing with a big lens on the front and a microphone that plugs into it. And it's just absolutely awesome. I've only got it today, so I just had to do a wet liberal. Even though I have been thinking about this, I had to do one because I just wanted to see if it works. So that's a new bit of technology, and as you can see, that's something that you can grip and hold and shoot really, really good quality pictures and video on a wretched iPhone. And you can still use the phone, but you do look a bit of a pillock holding it up like that and talking. Anyway, that's all. If you have been, thank you for watching.